Hey guys, I'm sorry it's taken so long to get this reading out, but I've been really super busy. I'm having some technical problems and have a lot going on, so I typed out the reading and I'm just going to read it. I do have some cats, so they're probably going to make an appearance, but let's get this thing going. The first thing I want to say is that there really was a lot of information that came through in this reading, and I'm going to make a part 2 if you guys want me to do that. This video really would be much too long if I put everything that I felt and that I saw in the reading. So if there's anything you felt that I missed, feel free to put that in the comments, or a lot of you guys have just been sending me, I guess it's called private messages. So, I mean, you can continue doing that as well. Okay. So, nothing in this reading is to be taken as truth. These are just my opinions based off the cards that I drew. A lot of this could be thoughts that were yet discussed between the two of them, or things that were in waiting to see how situations would progress. As always, nothing is set in stone. If somebody doesn't like what they hear, they can always do what they can to change the outcome. No one is 100% accurate, and that is absolutely true. If Trisha, I doubt you'll see this, but if you do see this and there's something in this reading that you don't like, don't be upset, because honest to God, so many things can be turned around and completely changed. Sometimes you have to bear down and take the brunt of what's coming, but most often, literally 90%, I would say, can be changed to your favor if you so choose. So here we go. When I asked if Trisha and Jason are still together, I'm getting the 8 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, and Judgment. There's only a few times that I'm going to mention the cards, but I decided to not add them to this reading since, first of all, you can't see them, and the majority of people that are here aren't going to know what they mean anyway. So I'm just going to give you what I see and feel from the cards that I pulled. Okay, so I'm getting the 8 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, and Judgment. That tells me that things are being worked on, but it hasn't been an easy road, especially in an emotional sense for Trisha. I see the girl is really trying, and with the Judgment card sitting right on top of her, it tells me that she is really trying to make amends for her behavior and trying to make peace with her former self that has continually sabotaged the things and people in her life that she really cares for. She is being told to nurture that side of herself, recognize it for what it is, thank it for doing what it needed to do for her in her life up to this point, make peace with it, forgive it, and move forward into her future, knowing that she has grown and is a better person for the experiences she was allowed to have. It's now time for her to move on to the next lesson in her life. Okay, these things were not in her life to harm her. In fact, she sees, or she feels, she gained a lot of protection from these behaviors. I will say the more she begins to recognize her negative patterns and the emotional and mental trauma that came with them, it's really going to start dredging up some pretty painful times for her, and she will have to work hard to get past them. She's going to start seeing where the patterns began and the triggers in her life that make her fall back on them. I hope all that made sense. It certainly made sense when I was writing it. Feeling weird reading it. Okay, by the way, I just want to say that this was great about the Judgment, or what is great about the Judgment card, is that it calls you to have sort of a life review so that you can see where you were and how far you've come up to this point in your life. It casts light on all the skeletons that you have in your closet, and it asks you to face them head on. You can only shove things to the side for so long until they come back to haunt you. Trisha's beginning to sort through that closet of skeletons. It's not going to be an overnight ordeal. She's going to have to be consistent with this, because it's going to take years for her to work through. Y'all, I'm trying to read through my bifocals. I'm sorry. I do feel that within 4 to 6 months time, if she continues on this path that she's on now, she's really going to start to emerge from this dark place with such a sense of peace and relief, and feel as though she's really being liberated from all these painful experiences that have been looming over her in her relationships. Just so I'm clear, I'm not talking about just her romantic relationships. It's telling me that she is not 100% clear on how Jason truly feels. There's confusion and a lot of overthinking. She just wants Jason to be okay with her and for everything to go back to the way it was before this fiasco happened. Okay, this was a long-winded answer, not exactly a yes or no at this point. Why I'm not saying that this relationship is over, not yet. Anyway, Trisha is trying to do what she needs to do to figure out the patterns in her life that trigger her to make bad decisions that have ultimately sabotaged her happiness and potentially hurt those around her that care about her most. The one thing that I see that she could be thinking about is if it doesn't work out with Jason, she will have this sort of screw love mentality and use men for what she can get out of them because she feels that's what they do to her. While this is certainly a normal response to being hurt, this would greatly jeopardize the process she's going through to identify and break patterns that harm her. Someone asked if Trisha loved Jason more than Jason loved Trisha. The simple answer is no, but I'm not sure you could convince Trisha of that. I see her sort of obsessing on the fact that she cared more about Jason than he did her, and I'm not really seeing this being a fact. Just her running with assumptions and seeing things that aren't there because she's so emotionally charged. This all goes back to the very first part of the reading of her past sort of holding her hostage and not allowing her to break free from old patterns of thinking. The other things that came up around this question and his feelings for Trisha, which I find very interesting, seem to revolve around Jason's children. Although I think that Jason could really appreciate and respect Trisha's hustle, I do feel that on some level there is or was an uncertainty of whether or not he felt that Trisha would be a good fit for he and his family long term. Now, this could be something that he felt more in the beginning because I do see that there is a pretty good dynamic between Jason's kids and Trisha. To be honest, it's making me feel that if Jason were to move forward in his relationship with Trisha, i.e. marriage, some sacrifices in Trisha's profession would have to change. I don't see this being an issue with her because this girl's on her A game when it comes to business and finance. She'll always find a way to make money. She'll never be down and out financially. I do see some things around Trisha in ways of a possible clothing line. This could be lingerie, hair extensions. I'm feeling that it has to do with decorating the body. So anyway, the love seems to be pretty equal, and I do see that Jason had real thoughts of marrying Trisha. So yeah, what I was seeing about Trisha, she has got a lot of really, really good things in her reading. It was kind of going off on some other stuff, but I really wanted to do my best to stay on track with the questions that people had. But if anybody wants me to look into Trisha's professional life, I'll be more than happy to do that. I think that would be really fun and interesting because some really cool things were coming up for her as far as work is concerned. Okay, did Jason like Tana? Did Jason really want to sleep with Tana? So I'm not seeing that Jason really knew Tana enough to like her in the way that I think the questioner is curious about. Did he think she was attractive? Yes, but I do think that he wanted, but do I think that he wanted to cheat on Trisha with Tana? No, absolutely not. In fact, I do see that Jason knows that he and Tana have nothing in common. An age issue is coming up as well. I mean, I know that there's an age issue, but it really did come up in the reading. And that he would not be able to deal with the difference in the age. I think he would eventually think it's kind of creepy, and other people around him would as well. I don't even know where to look on this thing. I'm so sorry. Okay, there's something about Tana that comes up for me that Jason figured out that made him very aware that Tana is not somebody he would be able to have any kind of relationship with anyway. The differences between the two of them are much too great. Trisha literally has nothing to worry about with Tana. Trisha, again, if you're seeing this, I never in this reading one time saw Jason wanting to step out of this relationship with anybody else. I didn't see him thinking about anybody else, desiring anybody else. So that's one thing, really, honestly, I don't think you ever really had to worry about with him. And that's kind of pretty amazing because, you know, a lot of guys that I know aren't like that. They're not faithful. The man has integrity, trust me. His integrity is intact at all times. Okay. So how does David feel about Trisha, and will he forgive her? I'm seeing a lot of disappointment around his feelings for her. Since this reading is not about David, I will just say the relationship between them will not be the same. It's going to take a long time for David to get past what Trisha did. He lost trust and respect for her because he never thought she would do something like that to him. There was an understanding between the two of them that she betrayed. David is very business-minded, and he doesn't take kindly to anyone who could possibly destroy what he has worked for. But wait a minute. It's not just about David, is it? I think that this is understandable, the way that he feels. Oh, hold on, my cat. Will he forgive her? Yes, I do see him forgiving her, but I don't see him being able to trust her. And I see it being a running joke about having to watch what you say and do because of what Trisha might expose. Whether David was honest about this or not, I see that in the beginning, when this first happened, when Trisha first put the video out, that he was really upset with Jason over what Trisha did. Although misplaced emotions and blame momentarily, literally, this was very quick. There was definite tensions there for a minute because David was having a hard time processing what Trisha did to him. I do see David and Trisha either have or will communicate. Things can get back on track with enough time if David is willing to let bygones be bygones. Having said that, I think it's sad if what Trisha said was true about David excluding footage for others and disregarding her and including footage that she opposed. It was obvious that she tried to get through to him, but he didn't seem to take it very seriously. That says a lot about his blatant disregard for her feelings. Maybe he didn't realize what he was doing, or maybe she portrayed herself as someone who could handle much more than she could because she wasn't comfortable expressing her discontent. When you're used to making someone the butt of your jokes and they seem to be able to handle that well, it doesn't mean that it didn't affect them or hurt them. It doesn't mean that they don't have their breaking point. This may be a very unpopular opinion, but I really feel for Trisha and why she did what she did. It was a desperate attempt to be heard and acknowledged as a human being. This was her way of saying, David, you're hurting me with the things that you're including in your footage. I'm insecure in my relationship when it comes to certain things, and I don't want that on display. I totally get that. You're crossing a line, and he did. And I agree with what I was seeing in the reading, that he absolutely did cross a line, and he should have held her feelings in a little higher regard. Okay, that was when she took matters into her own hands and exposed what was going on. This wasn't to hurt David. This was to show David that, hey, you know, I'm a human being. Although this is funny to you, this really hurts me. She felt this was the only way to get through to him. Does that make it right? No. If what I say is true, what I've seen in the reading, they're both to blame for what happened, honestly. Her for exposing him, and him really for not listening to her in the first place. Again, they can get through this, but things won't go back to the way they were. However, they can get pretty damn close. If David would open himself up to fully understanding what he did and forgiving Trisha for having a very human reaction to what she felt as being disregarded for not approving of his decision to include footage that she opposed, in the end, David did make it right by deleting the video. That sounded like a really run-on sentence, didn't it? A real run-on sentence, but it wasn't. I'm just not reading this properly. I'm so sorry. This is my first time. Okay. However, you know, he deleted the video, but damage was already done because, you know, everybody had already seen it and uploaded it to YouTube. So, you know, that's that. So Trisha is really sorry for what she did, not only because it hurt her relationship with Jason, but because she really did like David a lot, despite saying she didn't. Trust me, it's a protective mechanism when she does that. I think David and Trisha really were friends. I really do feel like she cared a lot about him. And I really did think, in a way, she kind of regarded David as family. A couple of people. I'm not going to get into all that, but there were some things coming through in the reading that really were very sweet about the way that she felt about him and some of those people. So why does Jason's ex-wife even care if Trisha lives with Jason if they are divorced? Will Jason really lose his kids if Trisha moves in with him? Okay, wow, okay. I see that Jason's ex is really bitter that she didn't get the relationship that Jason has with Trisha. He's kind of living the life that she felt that should have been hers. I get the feeling that she thinks something is being taken from her and she's bitter about it. So we have some entitlement issues going on here as well. I've got the Four of Wands with Jason and Trisha, which I'm sorry I included a card again, which tells me that they were basically living together anyway, whether or not it was made official by saying those words. I'm not seeing that Jason would lose his kids if Trisha was officially moved in. I do see a very pissed off ex-wife who feels like she would have lost all control over David if she does move in. I'll just say this. The wife better worry about the kids wanting to move in with Jason when they get old enough to make that decision for themselves. I do see some legal proceedings with Jason and his wife within a year. Could be something as simple as upping child support, but it's not being very clear, and I'm not going to waste my time looking into something that's not showing up in detail. So that's all I'm going to say about those questions. Well, Jason and Trisha get engaged and get married. Where did that go? Okay, I'm seeing the real possibility for Jason and Trisha to get engaged, but right now I'm not seeing that resulting in marriage. Does that mean that it can't be changed? Nope. It can absolutely be changed when the two of them work on things that would prevent a marriage from happening. But there is something very important that needs to be said. With everything that is happening with the introspection and therapy that Trisha said she is getting, it is very possible that a marriage will not occur because they end up going in two different directions. Therapy can bring two people together, or it can make them realize that they want different things and they separate. Not from lack of love or interest, but because they find they have different wants, needs, and desires for themselves and their futures. It's not something it is not something to be perceived as negative, although it may feel that way when you're not in the headspace to accept that things change. But when you do reach that place of acceptance and have a willingness to move into your future with a clear head and understanding of what you want and deserve, it's certainly a welcome prospect. That concludes the reading, and I want to say that I love Trisha so much. I was a fan of hers before I knew who Jason was, and I want nothing but the best for both of them. These two have an amazing dynamic between the two of them. There's a tremendous amount of love and adoration. I've never seen two people that were so much alike in so many ways. I really wish I could have included more questions, but I think this is enough for now. If you would like a part 2, I would certainly make another video if I get enough questions. Y'all have a wonderful week, and thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to my video. So like I said, if y'all have any further questions, y'all want me to do a part 2, leave them down in the comment section, and I will get to those as quick as I can. Okay, again, have a great week. Bye, guys. Hey, really quickly, there's a question that I left out, so I wanted to get to that real quick. And it was, how does Vlog Squad feel about what Trisha did to David? Believe it or not, I'm seeing some pretty split feelings about this. There are actually some of them who side with Trisha, and some who can see both sides, and some who side with David. I don't think they would let David know that they side with Trisha, but I do think some of them have expressed that they can understand why Trisha was hurt. If I'm not mistaken, I think some of them may have even said something to Trisha about it. It looks like David has hurt a few members of Vlog Squad, but they get over it relatively quickly, and it's business as usual. I don't mean hurt them physically. Well, I mean they do a lot of pranks and stuff, so I'm sure about that. But I think there have been some hurt feelings with some things maybe that David has done or David has said. I don't know. But like I said, it looks as though those people are getting over it pretty quickly and they just move forward. But it said Trisha was the new kid on the block who really didn't fit in with the theme they had going. But she really did add some fun and something different to the videos, that's for sure. I think there was already some tensions with Trisha and some Vlog Squad members, but that is up to their discretion on whether or not they want to speak about that. So that's the thing that I left out of the video. So again, thank you guys for stopping by. See you later. Bye.